They say second time's the charm. Wasn't happy with the first spoil. I've done because you know, if you're going into spoilers and whatnot, you're gonna go and ramble for a very long time. Just had to look back at my reaction and I'm like, this is a shit show. Like well, a lot of my videos are, but like this is just all over the shop. It's episode 2. But yes, I've just decided to do a review, I guess, just to structure everything perfectly. So, yay, spoilers. Well, you obviously knew that. Okay, so yes, but welcome to the spoiler section. Everything's safe now for you guys to indulge in. So let's talk about the sad stuff. I've been tearing it up as well. Not for thinking about the whole Luke situation. No, it is. I'm not over that though. No, in all seriousness, it's just because I've been watching a reaction and there's scenes in that reaction that hurt. But in all seriousness, it should be about Luke, isn't it? Let's get on with the review. How's it going, everyone? It's Liam Catterson here, and we're going to do some Star Wars. The full review, or a discussion, I don't know. I have no idea. I've got my list of notes here because there's a lot to go through, and there's a lot that I want to say. So yeah, let's cut the shit. But yeah, as I said in my, if you haven't watched my spoiler-free review, because you didn't need to, I basically said that this movie has just been an enjoyable film. It's 8 out of 10 for me in terms of how I would rate this. The film is so enjoyable. It does fall flat in the middle, especially around the casino scene, and I just love the story overall. I think the reason why it felt flat for me, I'm not sure. The adrenaline kind of died down. I mean, it was informative and whatnot, but I don't know. I just felt like they focused too much time. It wasn't really needed at all. If it was needed, like the time it was on, it wasn't really called for. Like they could have put that. They could have put that time to certain other features about the film. Maybe the training scene could have been extended a bit more because I felt that was a bit too short. So, kind of balance things out. It's the balance of the Force. But yes, this film was just incredible. Probably one of the most enjoyable experiences I've ever had in the cinema. It was just so mesmerizing. There was a lot of shocks. Like I said, there was a load of range of emotions going on. I actually did cry at a couple of parts. There was like shocks going on. There was cheers, all that kind of stuff. So, where should I start first? Because I've literally no idea. Should I get on with the good stuff? Well, first let's talk about the beginning. I want to get the negatives out the way. Actually, should I? Gee, this is why I should have planned this out. Well, first we'll talk about the beginning, because, so you know where we're at in terms of the spoilers, I'll indicate it. But the beginning, when, Poe went on that little, that was great though. The humour was, let's just say the humour in this was probably one of the best usages in Star Wars. Like, I know they tried to force humour like Jar Jar, which wasn't really called for. And there are some times where it's really, really funny. But the amount of humour in this film was just on point. Especially the fact where poor Hux' mother got insulted. Not even 5 minutes in, and they had to throw in a Yo Mama joke as well, so it was pretty neat. But yeah, that was really, really awesome. Of course, it gave a bit of backstory to Rose as well, because we saw her sister sacrifice herself with that gadget, of course. It's been 2 days for me, by the way, since I last saw the movie, so I'm gathering all my thoughts fresh from memory. Yes, we saw that going on. There was amazing space fights, not just in space, but on Crate as well. Like, there was some fantastic aerial action. But yeah, that Poe, I think when he did that, I think his first few minutes, I think that kind of, I don't know, told me that I'm going to enjoy Poe a lot in this, and by God was I right, because I felt episode 7, he had small development, he had small baby feet development, but in this episode we got a lot of great development from Poe, and I just really enjoyed that. It was really super to see him. I'm glad that they didn't also start off with the whole Luke and Rey exchange, of course, like Skrull, and then we see Act 2, yeah, because it gave us some anticipation, of course. And then we saw him, and he just flung the lightsaber. Just flung it. Dangerous weapon, and you just flung it. Hey, it nearly cost Porg some life there, actually, so Luke would have been responsible for that too. But yeah, I mean, where do I stand with... I know a few people are a bit picky with that scene as well, because it's like, well, it's a lightsaber, he's just clowning around with it. I think it's just to symbolise he wants nothing to do with this. So, like, oh, it's a lightsaber, whatever. I'm just in exile, because we know what he did with Ben Solo kind of put him in that predicament. The scene with Chewie eating one of the porg, well, he was about to, and you see the rest of the porgs just standing there, growls them all away, and then one of the porgs just comes in. It was so heartwarming. I just really loved that so much. And then the Act 2 caretakers, I think they are, when Rey blasted like one hole in the wall, they were repairing that, and then when Rey was training, of course, and she caused a bit of ruckus there, and then they just look at her like, bitch, really? I just love the caretakers. It was just a really awesome stuff. And another amount of humor that was involved was the ironing scene. Like, oh, something's gone. Oh, it's an iron. Like, over dramatic iron. But yeah, the Act 2 stuff was pretty neat. I just really loved it. It was great to see, of course, Luke and Rey's story. Of course, with Luke no longer wanting anything to do with, you know, training after what happened with the whole Kylo situation, which I'll get onto in a minute. It was really powerful stuff, and it was just interesting to see how, like, them two could converse. That, of course, their opinions about one another changed in the film, but, well, I wouldn't say with Luke. Because Rey was pissed about what happened with the whole Kylo Ren situation later on, and then she stole the books and then left to help the Resistance, of course. But well, not just that, but ultimately tried to turn Kylo Ren back to the good side, seeing that bit of conflict. When I talked about in my non-spoiler review that there are similar scenes from movies implemented in The Last Jedi, I'm talking about Return of the Jedi, because there's a moment about... Shall we just cut the shit and just go straight on with the whole Snoke shit? Fuck your theories! That's basically what it should have been. Star Wars Episode 8, fuck your theories. Because nothing about Snoke, about who Snoke really is he Plagueis, is he Maul? Nope, get it out the way. And the same with Rey's parents and that. But damn, that was just so great. It was great seeing Snoke utilize his powers, of course. We're getting to see, like, the new, like, some new abilities that he has, and he just controlled Rey like a rag doll. It was so uncanny. I know people are going to be a bit miffed with the way a powerful entity like Snoke could do that. Could bite the dust, should I say. And to be fair, I actually dig the decision. Why? Because it's unpredictable. I didn't see Snoke, and plus this isn't really Snoke's story. I get that someone with a lot of mystery, a lot of build-up, all goes to waste in Episode 8, but look at Emperor Palpatine. Like, Snoke was literally in Palpatine's position. The area where Rey, Kylo, and Snoke were all in one room. It was so reminiscent of Return of the Jedi. And even when he was going on about the Resistance falling apart, you can't say that wasn't like Return of the Jedi. But yeah, I get why a lot of people are pissed though, because they wanted some like clarity over who Snoke could be. Oh wait, is he Plagueis? Let's just say, don't just throw a fit because he will probably get some new information about him revealed. We have to remember he was there with the fall of the with the rise of Palpatine, the fall, everything going on. Well, I wouldn't say everything, but he's been around for a very long time, so he's most likely going to have more information divulged into probably future films. I mean, they're making a Han Solo movie, so why not a Snoke movie? I'm sure Andy Serkis could be a viable enough actor to return. Surely. He's a good person. But yes, don't count your chickens just yet, as they say. Is that the right one? I don't know. Anyways, yes, but it was just so satisfying. I mean, it's literally the same thing as in Return of the Jedi. Palpatine didn't anticipate Vader throwing him down the shaft, and that's the same thing. Whilst Snoke was basically goading Rey, you saw he didn't see Kylo Ren cut him in half, but that was sick. Like everyone's jaw was basically on the floor because they did not see that shit coming. I mean, I went to the cinema with my sister and her boyfriend, and we just looked like. Whenever I do a reaction, like if there's something massive comes out, I will be like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. I was so close to it. I was so close to letting out a holy shit in the cinema, just because of how like sudden that was, and to see Snoke fall. Oh man, that was really good. But I get why people are a bit angry. He had so much build-up, like he was a mysterious character, and I mean, there still could be information, but I doubt, unless he does, you know, come back in episode 9 and says, hey, you're going to need to do a lot more than screw with me, Kylo, if you're going to defeat me. Unless he comes back in episode 9, then he's not Snoke. I mean, he is Snoke, but he's not Plagueis, he's not Maul, he's not Obi-Wan Kenobi's dead twin. He's Snoke. So, fuck your theories. And since we're on that, I cried. I literally cried tears of joy with the whole Kylo Ren and Rey situation after Snoke got cut in half. And the reason why I say that is because I thought this was it. I thought Rey was able to do it because I've been wanting to see Ben Solo on the light. Ben Solo return. He's not Ben, he's Kylo Ren. But I've been wanting to see that, and we technically got it, but then Kylo had to be a little bitch and say, oh, come and join me, no more Snoke, let the past die, all that shit. He was a bitch. Had to kill the mood. But also we got to see some sick action when they were fighting Snoke's guards, like, Kylo, like, popping his eye, like, okay, we've seen decapitation, like, from the waist, cough Maul, cough Snoke. We've gotten to see limbs, like, it's no different, really. But imagine just stabbing someone in the eye. Yeah, we haven't seen that before. Like, there's some new abilities on how to utilize the Force, lightsaber skills in this movie. It's so fresh to see, and it's just so satisfying. Like, I wouldn't think Disney would go this length, but here we are, and I just enjoyed it. But yeah, we also got to find out information about Rey as well, because here's another theory that you can shove up your ass. She was from nobody important, and that does play well with the whole Force situation, because it seems like Disney are trying to erase everything the prequels, well, not everything, but erase the stupid shit that the prequels managed to do with the whole midichlorian shit and that. Like, anyone can wield the Force, like that little boy at the very end, of course. Like, anyone can. But I mean, I always thought the Force was a really delicate subject to touch upon, but I mean, with all the theories going on, oh, she was super connected to Anakin's lightsaber, maybe she's a Skywalker, the British accent, maybe she's Obi-Wan's grand... I never bought that theory, to be fair. Like, he'd have to go with someone after the Clone Wars, because we all know what happened in the Clone Wars, of course. His attachment, but I don't see why he would be, unless it was a, I don't know, a test tube baby or something like that. Plot twist. And nor did I buy the stupid Palpatine come on. Palpatine may be a stud, but he doesn't have time for that shit. I mean, why? Why? So the only reason I only thought, like, if there was ever going to be a notable family that Rey was from, it would be the Skywalker clan, because it would be a really nice touch and whatnot. So, and Luke could have, it would make sense if Luke left her on Jakku with the whole Ben Solo shit going on. I'll mention that in my cons section, because there's a few cons that this film ain't perfect. The parentage revelation, I guess you could call it that, maybe, for Rey, I liked it and I didn't like it. I'll go on to why I didn't like it in the cons section. But no, we've got some answers to which The Force Awakens left us asking for. Whether they're satisfying or not is, of course, I mean, it's everyone's opinion is a bit different, so you might think it might be the revelation was a complete piss take, but I liked it for my reasons, but I also didn't like it, and I'll go into that. In my cons section. Gas, don't have gas, people. There we go. Talk on for too long, you start up developing gas if you've drank stuff. What else? Oh, Holdo, Admiral Holdo. Yeah, Holdo. Is that right? But yeah, purple-haired lady, I think it is. Yeah, Holdo. She was a really interesting addition to this episode. I mean, it was interesting seeing her arc, because you just didn't know how to feel about her. But like, I was on Team Poe for this episode. Like, it was just really, like, Poe was an incredible character in this episode. He, like, the stuff he came out with, like, him just getting developed, he for some reason, he just attracted a great layer of attention towards him. And I really liked that. So, Poe was my MVP, and I was defending Poe all the way till the end. So, even if Leia was on Team Holdo, it was really interesting. But, I don't know, the way she acted, you know, she did it, like, you could tell what direction she was going in with her face, so she was really, she nailed it. And it was really remarkable about how she managed to hyperdrive her ship into Snoke's fleet, wasn't it? That was really epic to see. Like, probably one of the most beautiful scenes of Star Wars history. It was just, it kind of reminded me, okay, so if like Sonic went supersonic, for example, you saw the white beams of light or whatever, something like that. It kind of reminded me of that for some reason. I don't know why, but just to see that, like, it was just really beautiful to see. But Holdo with the sacrifice. I know a lot of people were upset that I can't say that. That Akbar wasn't the one, but let's be realistic. The name Akbar doing a suicide run, not gonna happen. Not in a light year. Not gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, that was a really powerful ending, but it was not just powerful for the selflessness act that she did, but how it went silent. Like, everything was just silent. The picture, the audience, well, the audience should be silent, otherwise we're going to be having words, but, like, there was no, like, gasps or whatever. There was just complete silence. It was just really, like, as you saw the aftermath, it was just really nice to see. What else was there? Leia as well. Now, I know a lot of people are also divided about this part, where Leia went Leia Poppins, or Super Leia, whatever term you want to go. The way she, oh, my heart was literally on the rails at that part where the bridge got blown up and Leia got caught up. I was like, don't you, like, my face literally dropped to the saddest point, because I was thinking, oh god, they're actually going to kill her off. They are actually going to kill her off. But no, she survived. Used the Force to bring herself back. I mean, she was just caught up and sucked out into space, and she used the Force. And I liked that because we've actually gotten to see Leia use the Force. I know we technically did with her sensing Luke and whatnot, but this time we've actually seen her physical presence, not just, oh, like, she actually pulled herself there. So I thought that was really, really great to see, and I dug it. I dug it, so yeah. I'm trying to think what else there is to say in the positives. What else have I got here? BB-8, just delightful to watch, especially when you had the reverse BB-8. I'm calling it that. The one that was BB-8's model but black. Yeah, just watching like, especially when BB-8 was in the box. That was just really, really great. I also love the kind of symbolism they gave to Phasma. I mean, I was a bit peeved with her death. Well, she could come back. I mean, I hope so, but I mean, I don't think the writer's destined for her to be like a bigger deal than the fans are giving her. Like, they are giving her, the fans are giving her the Boba Fett treatment. But I just love Phasma's ending, where you actually got to see a piece of her eye, like when we had that final duel with Finn and Phasma, and like part of her like helmet was damaged. I thought that was really cool. It shows a bit of symbolism there, that even a cold, merciless character like Phasma, she's still human underneath that mask, and I thought that was really, really powerful. But I just hope she does come back in some capacity. Now, I'm going with all the critical things that people, but I don't know, I'm like the reverse in some senses, because people really hated Rose, and I made this tweet on Twitter saying, I'm seeing a lot of people are just giving Rose a lot of flack. I like Rose, and I did. Rose was a really interesting character. Sure, she didn't have the most interesting plot behind her, but she had a great backstory with her sister getting caught up in a sacrifice at the beginning of the episode, and then that playing an effect when Finn was about to die. I liked her character. She was a really fun character. Of course, not the best character, but she wasn't intolerable. So that, at least that's from my opinion. Of course, other opinions are different, but I didn't find her intolerable at all. So yeah. I'm just trying to think. Oh yeah, the lines like blow that piece of junk out of the sky. Really good stuff. I think Kylo Ren has definitely improved in terms of his villainy in this film, because of course he was a really interesting character to watch in Episode 7. But a lot of people still like felt the need to pick on him, like, oh, Kylo Rage, or he's too skinny or whatever. No, I just felt like he really nailed it in this. This was a really great film for like a really great performance from Adam Driver, especially when he was able, like, the connection that Snoke set up, of course, when Kylo and Rey were communicating through the Force, of course, or Skype Force or something like that. Yeah, that actually sounds like a nice organization kind of name. But yes, there were some really great scenes, as well as the line you blow, like after Rey kind of shunned him about his offer when he went to create, when he took the new lead position, the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, of course. Some of the scenes were just really, really great from Adam Driver. I just really loved it. And speaking of that, Daisy Ridley was also a pleasure to watch, as she was in Episode 7, should I say. I think the cast did an exceptional job. We had Mark Hamill, who we enjoyed, and I think I loved a lot of his stuff. Like I know I'm a bit on the fence as well with some of the stuff that they wrote for Mark, and I can understand why he said he really didn't agree with it. When looking at the film, I'm like, oh, how... Well, before the film I was like, well, how bad could it be? And I was like, I understand where he's coming from. But some of the stuff Mark comes out with, he's a changed person, of course, with the 30 years, with the whole downfall of his Jedi Order. It's a completely different Luke Skywalker, and but one of the biggest impulses, well, one of the biggest things that I really did not like in terms of Luke, I'll get onto in my con section, because there was, and I think you guys know what I'll be talking about when I say when I mentioned about one of my biggest disappointments with Luke's story. But The last scene on Crate as well, since we're on Luke, on about Luke, let's talk about his death. We did it. Let's make the message loud and clear, people. We don't want Luke to die, so what do they do? Kill off Luke. At least he didn't get stabbed like Han Solo did in Episode 7 and 9. It was a more beautiful death. The way he just disappeared in the sunset like Yoda was just really, really beautiful to see. I just enjoyed like Luke's final outing. From the moment Kylo ordered to fire, it was just really, really awesome. Well, it was awesome mixed with concern, because I was like, oh shit, what's going to happen here? And then you just see him just walking out like, son of a bitch. I was well, at that point, I was hoping for an oh frickin' P version of Luke Skywalker. Like, Luke has aged well like a fine wine, basically, in the last 30 years, and now he's like an invincible Jedi. I had a feeling something was off when he was not struck down by Kylo's stabbing, but it was just still awesome to just see that, and man, just to see Luke's death was just, I can't get over it. I'm sad. I'm still sad. I'm still sad. It's bullshit. Also, that scene with Carrie as well, like it wasn't Luke and Leia, it was Carrie and Mark. That final scene before he went out, like, that was really, really like powerful. So I actually did cry at that, because it was like I said, it's Mark and Carrie, but you have to remember that how much Mark loves Carrie to death, and I felt that was really, really passionate. Of course, there was like every time that Carrie appeared on screen, it was like a punch to the gut, because of course we all know about her passing, and I'm wondering what's going to happen in Episode 9 in terms of Carrie. Like, are they going to do some kind of time jump, of course, since they're really on the back foot, of course, which was another thing I loved, the whole cat and mouse situation between the First Order and the Resistance, and they really have the Resistance on the back foot. But I'm wondering what's going to happen. I assume there will be a time jump, because the Resistance will need time to recover, and that after the First Order has really put a spanner in the works. I mean, it's not like they have gone unscathed as well, as Holdo has done, of course, with the whole supersonic hyperdrive. Yeah, I'm gonna call it that. It sounds cool anyway. Supersonic hyperdrive crash. I love it. Let's roll with it. But yes, I'm just wondering what does happen to Carrie, because I'm assuming that there's going to be a time jump, a couple of years maybe, like the Star Wars Episode 4, the original trilogy jumps. It could be 10 years, like it was for 1 and 2, even though they were a few years apart in terms of filming. And they could just say like Leia died peacefully in her sleep or something like that, because I think they're a bit on the fence about the whole CGI animation thing. They've said, oh, we'll bring her back, oh, we won't. Like, it's a bit 50-50 at the minute, but whatever they do, I think Carrie had a wonderful performance in Episode 8, and it was just really, really beautiful to see that. So whatever they do for Episode 9 in terms of Carrie and Leia, I'm just going to miss her, and she was just incredible in Episode number 8. I think I've said everything. Oh no, we've forgotten about Yoda. Oh man, I mean, I saw his ears, and I was like, and here we go. And I'm glad they used the puppet as well, like the puppet from Episode 5 and 6. They didn't just go CGI, apart from the whole ghost glow thing. They actually used the... it was just really, really great, and it was great to see, because I don't know why. When we saw Luke converse with Yoda's Force Ghost, it was really interesting. It kind of brought me back to... It kind of, for me... I don't know how to put it. It was like Luke was back at his age he was in at the original trilogy, rather than being the old hermit who has exiled himself for what he did. So I just really love that, and the fact that, of course, he like stated that Rey took the books, of course. We all thought, oh, there was the line, oh, there's nothing in those books, there's nothing that she possesses that aren't in those books, or something along the lines. Oh, she knows stuff or whatever, but no, she took them with her, which was really, really great. But I just loved seeing Yoda. I mean, it makes sense for Yoda to come back. Obi-Wan, well, that would be great to see Ewan McGregor back, but then again, Ewan McGregor and Mark Hamill haven't really, yeah, so, but then again, I wanted to see Hayden Christensen as well. I'm okay with that decision, by the way, at the end of episode 6, so fight me. It makes sense, because nobody recognises Sebastian Shaw restored, okay? I mean, if you want to be realistic, it should be a burnt Anakin in Jedi robing, so, yeah. But, yeah, that was just really, really great to see, and I think I've gotten all the good, yeah, I think I've gotten all the stuff out the way. So, overall, this story was really good. Pacing was sweet, all that. Middle was a bit wonky, casino stuff. DJ wasn't really too swayed by him. So, I think he's the only real... I don't know if he even got out of Snoke's ship in One Piece as well, so... But I wouldn't really be fazed if, like, he survived or not, because he wasn't really a big pull to me, so... Oh well. So now, let's go with the cons. Because, no, this movie ain't perfect. Ain't perfect. Right, one of the biggest cons that I have, and I can see why they did it as well, or why they wrote it like that, is Luke and Ben Solo's flashback. When Luke was, of course we had a few different stories. We had Luke saying that Kylo got up and brought down, that rage got to him and he destroyed everything going on. And then we had Kylo's input, of course, when he was about to strike him down and he got him and then we had that clash, and that's why he brought the thing down. But the overall story was, of course, Luke getting his lightsaber out. He activated it, but he had a moment of regret, and it was all too late anyways, because Kylo saw what he did. And it makes you feel that bit of sympathy for Kylo Ren, because, I mean, if someone did that to me, if someone was standing over me asleep and getting ready to kill me, I would fucking freak the fuck out too. So, I can't really blame Kylo for snapping and, you know, just doing that. I mean, yeah, he can be a bitch, but I don't blame him in the sense. But also, it makes you think, why did they write Luke like that? I mean, it's not really right, is it? Because I don't think Luke would do that at all. Now, the reason why I did like that as well is because it still shows that Luke still has that bit of darkness that he had in Return of the Jedi. When he was smashing Vader's hand off, that was the dark side talking to him, and he only looked at himself and realised that was wrong. He's still got that darkness in him that he can't wash away, and I think it's because of the fact that it's the Skywalker gene or whatever. They have these random acts of impulses of darkness to utilise if they have to, like Luke thought he had to put Ben down because of that darkness in him, but he had that regret, because that's not what Luke is like. Luke is for the better, and he regretted that. Of course, it was too late by when everything was said and done. But I don't know. I don't think Luke would do that at all. And here's the thing, though. I mean, he thinks that putting Kylo down was the best call, but this is the same person who went on a basically went on a suicide mission to try and turn Vader to the good side again, because he saw that conflict. The same conflict he saw in Kylo, but he thought it was the best option to put Kylo down. I don't get that, to be fair, because I even said it. Wait, why is he giving up hope to Kylo when he didn't give up hope on his father. I mean, Kylo's basically like one of his, well, he's not his children, but he may as well be. He's trying to teach him, and I mean, yes, it was a quick impulse, but the fact that he had that quick impulse to begin with shows that, well, why are you giving up on Kylo when you didn't on your father? So, I mean, Kylo should be more connected in a sense, because they didn't, well, Luke and his father didn't really bond. They were always enemies, whereas Luke has that emotional bond with Kylo, of course, growing up, until Kylo snapped off the Jedi branch when Luke was about to kill him. But that was one of the things that I had about Luke's thing. The other thing was, when I said I liked it and I didn't like it, was Rey's parentage, because I liked it because it was unpredictable, and anyone in the universe could have the Force, as shown it by the last bit in Episode 8. But I didn't like it because they Jared Leto'd Joker'd that shit. And for that, by that I mean, you know how Suicide Squad presented Joker plenty in the trailers, and that was the amount of, like, probably the trailers showed more Joker than they did in the film. They basically ran with the hype and built so much upon it. Like, they teased us so much to have that kind of revelation. Why not kind of reveal it in Episode 7? It made you think, and I don't understand why, to be fair. Like, they could have easily answered this like, "Hi, I'm Rey. My parents were like these junkies." In Episode 7, Rey introduces herself. I mean, yes, we could have that feeling where they could be her adoptive parents to hide the truth, or whatever, I don't know, but they could have dealt with this another way, rather than just drag it out for 2 years to disappoint people, because there will be disappointed people. I'm not fazed by it as much as other people, but I do think it's a tad disappointing that they kind of rode with the hype and didn't do anything about it in Episode 7. Because it was always going to, like, the moment Rey touched a person like Rey, who has no real origins, apart from being left on Jakku by her family, who didn't get information, and people, like, they should have closed that question in Episode 7, and, well, maybe Kylo was bullshitting, but like I said, the Force, that little thing at the very end of the episode where the little boy getting the broom, it doesn't seem likely, so that was one of my gripes. What else did I have? I mean, the casino part, of course, was another mention, of course. It was flat, didn't really feel, and Ben, I can't remember his first name, Del Toro, I'm just going to call him Ben. Like, short, but yeah, I didn't really feel compelled by his character at all. Yeah, what else was there going on? Because I had more points as well. Oh yeah, okay, so there was another thing that did bother me, was Han Solo. Now, the thing with Han Solo, this is a few days after The Force Awakens. So, one of my biggest gripes is that he was only mentioned like once by Luke saying, "Where's Han?" And what I would have done is removed a bit of the casino scene, had Leia, you know, reflect on Han, just give him some kind of tribute or something like that, because of the fact that them two, like, create this family, of course. And I'm just a bit peeved that we didn't really get much, you know, like, tribute on Han. Maybe it might have not have been necessary, but it was to me, I feel, because they still lost an important figure. Of course, they still reflected upon it with the whole Kylo Ren situation, I think, but I think there should have been a discussion about how Han was a real contribution to the team, or whatever, something like that. Like, there needed to be a scene that I felt. Because it was only a few days, like I said, so that kind of bothered me. I had no idea why they had that little kiss between Finn and... I didn't feel the, like, shipping vibe at all. I just felt it was forced, just because of the fact that Rose saved Finn's life. And I'm glad that Rose did, because I don't think Finn would have been able to survive that at all. Like, well, he wasn't going to survive that at all. I'm meaning, right, what I meant was, I don't think he would have put a dent into the generator. I don't think he would have shut it down. I think it would have only done a small amount of damage, and I think his suicide would have been pointless. Unlike Holden. Holden. Yes, okay. But the kiss... I think they're great as friends, but you don't need that kiss if you don't... I didn't really feel it. I don't know about anyone else, but it just kind of felt shoehorned in for some reason. I was like, okay. I didn't really ship it, but okay. So, yeah, that was one of my... I mean, that's the only complaint I have surrounding Rose and that, because I know a lot of people do compare her to Jar Jar and that, which is like overreacting, if anything. Like, I know you might not have high confidence in Rose. I know she might not be your favourite character, but I don't think she's the level of Jar Jar. I think that's just pushing it. I think that's just spitting out a few more dummies. That's my opinion. I know people might think I'm calling them out, but I don't see how she can be as worse than "You're gonna die" or something like that. That was my worst Jar Jar impression ever. And Phasma, I don't know about like the fact that they decided to kill her off. Like I said, I think the writers didn't bill her as a character that would be loved by the masses, of course. I don't think the writers... I think the writers had this path, but the hype got a bit overboard, and yeah, we're a bit... Well, I can understand, because I think Phasma should be... If you're going to get rid of Phasma, kill her off in episode 9 at least. But I think Phasma had more to the story. She was underrated, definitely, and... yeah, that's really all I have in terms of my points. But it was a great film. I know these points might seem like I'm diminishing it a lot, but it was a really great film. The crate battle with the aerial stuff was just really, really intense to watch, and it was really, really fun to watch. There were a couple of meme moments, definitely. Like one of my when I say that Luke Skywalker's quote. Everything you've just said is wrong. I just love that. Just gonna quote that to any Star Wars fans now, aren't we? And the fact is, he said it twice as well, so that adds to the meme material. You could say lines once and they'll get picked up by for memes, but Luke said it twice, so it's just adding more salt to the wound, I guess. But yeah, another thing that I didn't really get is, why didn't Kylo just assume this was all, like when Luke wasn't there, when he transcended himself before dying, of course. How did Kylo not click into... I guess it's the rage and whatnot. And speaking of rage, well, oh shit, I'm gonna knock off the laptop, no. Speaking of rage, I think arrogance really blinded Snoke to the point where he wasn't able to see Kylo kill him. Like, people will be saying, oh, how come Snoke didn't see Kylo kill him? I think, well, arrogance does blind you, so... And his arrogance into goading Rey was really the key to his downfall. He might be all-powerful, but he can still be a dumb ass if the times call for it, and he was then. But speaking of rage, rage consumed Kylo, I think, when... it's the same with, like, he was so livid, especially the fact that Snoke gave him a roasting at the beginning of the episode, so, and that really changed Kylo, definitely. Which I didn't mind, because that version of Kylo Ren was just, like, from that point, it was a whole new version of Kylo Ren, and it was so sick to watch. I was just immense. It was just immense watching Adam Driver perform this, like, new shift into Kylo Ren. But he was so built up with rage, with the fact, with Luke and all that, that I don't think he noticed about the lightsaber. Because of the fact that both Rey and Kylo destroyed Anakin's lightsaber, the true loss of the saga. But he didn't notice. He did not notice that at all. And that's what I'm thinking. Well, how come he doesn't know? Probably the rage stuff. But like I said, the crate battle was just really, really awesome. The final confrontation, the final stand from Luke where he... Sad times. But I just really enjoyed it. It was probably the most enjoyable film ever. Not to say it's the best film, but I certainly enjoyed it a lot. There was a lot of scenes that had me on edge. I was going through a lot of emotions. There was tears, there was happiness, there was sadness, there was pain, all that kind of stuff. You're going to experience them, like I said in the non-spoiler review. And it was just really good. There was a few weak points, no movie's perfect and whatnot. But yeah, and I can see why people are complaining, but also I can find a defense, like the whole Snoke situation. Like Palpatine did that same shit to Luke when he electrocuted him and didn't see Vader overthrow him. Same with Kylo killing him, so yeah. And plus, don't worry about not getting much information on Snoke. I'm sure there's going to be a book that comes out to explain about Snoke. Remember, this guy was there from as early as episode 3, so like... there's going to be some information revealed about Snoke. I know that at some point. Maybe in episode 9. Maybe the new trilogy is about Snoke. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, don't think, oh... But you have to remember, this trilogy is centered around Kylo Ren and Rey. Snoke is just a piece in the background, of course, who is really, really powerful. But he wasn't powerful enough to see. He wasn't powerful enough to stop Kylo Ren from stabbing him in the back, or slicing him in the... Yeah. But no, it was a really, really awesome episode of Star Wars. I just loved this. Probably, I mean, it was definitely way better than A New Hope. Well, that was what it was basically for The Force Awakens, A New Hope 2.0. But I didn't mind that. I didn't mind. I was one of the people who was okay with the rehash. It was still an enjoyable film. Still had a lot of great moments. But this was definitely an improvement by tenfold. The cast were incredible. Like everyone just... Well... Like most of the cast, just say. Like I said, I wasn't really mesmerised by DJ, but that's fine. Like I said, the story was just a thrill ride. I mean, it was a bit flat in the middle, but it certainly did pick up at the very end, and it was just intense all throughout. So yeah, 8 out of 10. I think that's a fair score for this. Probably second favourite movie of the Star Wars saga. Behind Empire, just ahead of Rogue One. And yeah, it was just a really, really fabulous film. It was just so intense, and I loved this film so much, to bits and pieces. So, leave us your thoughts in the comments. Of course, opinions are different. I'd like to hear yours. What did you think about the film? What did you like? What did you not like? What do you expect will happen? I personally think the Knights of Ren, because we didn't really get much of them, as well as the fact that we need to see the Knights of Ren, of course, more exposed. Now, I think it's going to be Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren versus Rey, to see how powerful Rey really is. And Kylo will probably die, or he'll probably join the light side, or what if there's a twist that Rey does die? Kind of a grim ending to the Skywalker saga, wouldn't it? But I'm going to get right. It's going to be, one of those three is going to be right, definitely. But yes, just leave us your thoughts about what you thought of The Last Jedi. And I'll be interested to read them, because of course opinions are different. I know there's a lot of people who are angry about certain points of the movie that I've justified in my opinion. But like I said, that's my opinion. I'm not right, I'm not wrong. It's just my thoughts. So yes, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Just leave us your thoughts in the comments and I'll be interested to read them. But until then, you can check my videos on the right. If you want to check out more of my content, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!